Look at the face of this watch. The blue sunray dial, raised Arabic numerals, high contrast hands, the perfect placement of the date window, the shine on the slim ceramic bezel. I love this watch, and I'm excited to tell you about it. But first, a quick story. 15 years ago, my wife and I were listening to NPR and heard a story about German wristwatches.
Of the 5 brands of analog wristwatches regarded as the world's most accurate, 4 are Swiss. The other is made in the tiny eastern German village of Glashütte near Dresden.
But it was this quote from the owner of Glashütte that stuck with me.
German products are never cheap, but they always have 3 attributes. They work, they work, they work.
Werk, werk, and werk. My wife and I have joked about that phrase ever since. We use it when describing a hard day at the office or the challenge of raising kids. We work, and we work, and we work. Fast forward 15 years, when I'm on my pandemic-era deep dive into wristwatches. As I pored over videos and images of Rolexes and Omegas, I came across an image of the Glashütte SeaQ, and it stopped me in my tracks. A German watch, huh? Could that have been the German watchmaker from the NPR story a decade earlier? I searched and was delighted to discover that it was. But even if it wasn't the same company, I still love the watch. Sure, the arrow at the end of the minute hand was a little funky, but everything else about the watch was just perfection. Plus, it was readily available. So, after saving and fretting and bargain shopping, I got one of my own. Now I've had it for about a year, and I've worn it hundreds of times. And I must say, this watch has been a great pleasure to wear. The face is gorgeous, of course, and I think the bracelet is simply best in class. Here's why. This Glashütte logo on the clasp isn't just a decoration, it's a button that allows you to make micro adjustments on the fly, without any tools, without even taking the watch off. Every watch bracelet could benefit from this incredible feature, but as far as I know, only Glashütte and A. Lange & Son feature it. By comparison, Rolex's EasyLink, which requires you to take the watch off before making an adjustment, looks clumsy. I use the micro adjustment feature multiple times each day. I'll tighten the bracelet up a bit in the morning, then I'll loosen or tighten throughout the day, and before I go to bed, I loosen it most of the way to rest easy. And yes, I sleep with this watch because, thanks to its generous lume, it's easy to see the time whenever I'm awake. Back to the bracelet. Instead of a brushed finish, the center links are polished, which gives the watch a bit of flash, which I like because it pops the bright blue dial and catches your eye, but it does get scratched up pretty easily. I wear this watch to work, to the gym, traveling at home and abroad, pretty much everywhere. I've never felt unsafe wearing the watch, like somebody might try to mug me for it, because most people have never heard of Glashütte. That was part of what appealed to me about the SeaQ. It has all the craftsmanship, history, and gravitas of the big 4 Swiss watch brands, but Glashütte flies under the radar. It's a watch lover's watch. But to the average Joe, it may as well be a Timex. In fact, in a year of wearing the watch, I've only had one person recognize that it was a Glashütte, or a special watch at all for that matter. And that person worked at a watch boutique, so it figures. Going incognito with a luxury watch like the SeaQ may appeal to you too. It's not begging for attention or recognition, but it can go toe-to-toe with the best luxury timepieces out there. For other people, this may be a drawback. Why spend a fortune on a watch that only super collectors will know or appreciate? And speaking of drawbacks, the SeaQ could benefit from an open case back like its big brother, the SeaQ Panorama Date. After all, Glashütte makes some of the most beautifully finished movements in the industry. It would be nice to show it off in the SeaQ. As far as doing its core job of keeping time, this watch is an overachiever. Easily the most accurate watch in my collection. I've worn it for a full month every day without ever having to adjust the time. So, to close us out here, let's go back to that NPR quote from the owner of Glashütte.
German products are never cheap, but they always have 3 attributes. They work, they work, they work.
And that's been my experience with the SeaQ too. It wasn't cheap, but it works, and it works, and it works. And it's a beauty to look at too.